Hey everybody, Coach Lois here. I always love to be here to help announce Breathwork and share a couple of quick announcements as well for you guys that go really, really well with this topic. Today we're going to be talking about money, 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 and releasing stress around that, right? Who here has ever had stress about money? Anyone? Anyone? Especially with everything that's going on in the economy, right? You know, people are investing in crypto, Bitcoin. I've had friends lose multiple six figures investing in that. I've seen people lose jobs or quit their jobs because they're less enthralled by the money. They want the freedom, right? But then you realize, okay, now what am I going to do? So time and financial freedom are very, very connected. And we really want to talk about that today. And I wanted to leave you with this before I go is that whether you're watching this on the recording or on the replay or live, we have a 5-day challenge coming up. It's October 10th. And if you're an active member, it's included in your membership or your subscription. And if you catch this on the flip side on the replay, if you're after October 14th, then you will absolutely have access to this inside of the member vault as long as you're an active member or subscriber. So this is really near and dear to my heart because as most of you know, my journey, I've been in sales for 23 years and I've made a lot of money and I've been all the way down to homeless and beyond bankrupt and everywhere in between. And really, especially since the pandemic, I've noticed a lot of people stressing out about money, chasing money, working hard for their money. And you'll hear inside of my 5-day challenge, it's abundance is our divine birthright. And I want to help you have a shift, help you have focus on, your truth, your true priorities, and hopefully bringing less stress and more abundance focus into your life. So I hope you guys sign up for that, register for that inside of the member vault. And then of course, Dr. Mel today is going to be kicking us off with that same topic in her own way and relieving the stress of money through breath work. So Dr. Mel has been a friend for a long time. She's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you don't know her, you got to check her out, follow her on Instagram. I love following you on Instagram, Dr. Mel, and just so grateful. Before I go, maybe share a little bit about why breath work and money are so important and why you're agreeing to do this topic today.
Yeah. Well, your physiology around abundance and receiving and receiving money goes hand in hand with how well your nervous system and your breath is actually moving. So we're going to tap into that a little bit today and actually learn how to create abundance in your physiology and your breath and start to open up your cells to receiving, because we know in order to attract abundance, whether it's money or clients, our bodies and our minds have to be open to receiving. So we're going to actually learn some strategies today, and I'll walk you through that and you get to experience and receive and how that's all interconnected to receiving our own abundance in the universe.
Awesome. I love it. Well, enjoy, guys. Make sure you have something to write with right on. Do they need to take notes or anything like that? Or
yeah, I always like to have a pen, notebook handy in the beginning. Hi, Karen.
all right. So I'm going to hang out and then I'll quietly leave. So thank you so much for doing this and for being here today, guys.
Thanks, Lois. All right, y'all. Always happy to be here. As Lois said, we are going to be tapping into breath work related to money. And before we get into any content, I really want to invite you to really just land in your space. And if you've been with me on these Tuesdays, you know this is something I teach, is to really just allow your nervous system to open up to receiving. And one of the ways that we can do that is actually coming back to our 5 senses. I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs or leaders in your community, or just up to changing the consciousness on the planet, and that requires us to be embodied. So if you're looking at a screen, maybe you're watching or listening to me on the phone, I just want you to take a moment and let your nervous system land in your current space-time reality. What does that mean? Give yourself permission to move your eyes around the room that you're in, turning your neck and just noticing your environment without judgment, and just taking in your 5 senses. Starting with our eyes, and I'm of course doing this with you. And just noticing what your eyes are naturally drawn to, where there's a natural magnetic attraction. In my current environment, I have a lot of plants around me, so I'm very drawn to that. The life of the plants. I'm looking at a beautiful salt lamp and some crystals. Again, just allowing your eyes to take in your environment. And you might start to notice as you land more in your nervous system that your body wants to take on a shape, and just allowing yourself organically to take on that shape. Maybe it's stretching. Perhaps this is a time of the day where you get to pause from any work and just receive, and just noticing, does your body want some touch? Does it want some movement and stretching? Just allowing your nervous system and trusting your bodily cues. Part of receiving abundance is trusting yourself and not feeling shameful to like move and take up space. Starting to notice, what do you smell? Are there any smells? Noticing the clothes on your body, the textures. If there is a taste in your mouth, maybe you just drank some tea, maybe you just had lunch. I just had some soup, so I have like the aftermath of the homemade bone broth that I made, and just allowing my cells to really receive that. And allowing yourself to land. And maybe you already notice your breath making a shift. As we talk about money, and money is energy, and I know Lois talks a lot about this in her work that she does in coaching. Our minds like to make up stories around what money means. And her and I were connecting before this call, talking about how it's important for people to understand that our money is not tied to our self-worth. You know, as Lois mentioned, she's gone from all different waves of money coming in and out of her life. And the more that we can be the observer of this and recognize that our self-worth is not tied to the number that's in our bank account, the more that we can actually open up to receiving our gifts and value that we bring to the world. And as a result, be open to many forms of abundance, not just in the form of money, right? Because money is one form of energy. And something that I like to invite people to consider is thinking about and breathing into more the experiences. What is the experience in your life? You know, as Lois alluded to, time. Is it time that you want versus money? Is it, you know, clients that you want that bring money? Whatever it is, just starting to bring that into your conscious mind on our call today. And as you've landed in your body, I want you to start to notice when I even say the word money. You can even say it out loud if you want, if you're in a space where you can do that. Saying the word money. What does your nervous system do? Is there a sensation of like contraction? Is there a sensation of excitement? In the word itself, start to notice money. How does that land in your body? What does your breath do when you say the word money? Does it get shallow and stuck anywhere in your body? Or perhaps do you take a big deep breath? Whatever it is, let it be. Don't judge it. We're going to work with that today in our breath and start to reprogram our nervous system around the association of money. And again, I'm sure Lois goes into this, but a lot of the times if we've grown up and seen maybe our parents or our friends act and behave a certain way around a certain topic like money, sometimes we subconsciously take that on, right? And not just from our behavior, but actually our nervous system takes that on. And even our breathing patterns, right? We are beings of witnessing and behavior. And so even subconsciously, we take on those breath patterns when we hear certain things like money, like abundance, like attraction, right? And what I want to guide you through today is to start to open up your cells for receiving, because the first experience of receiving comes from our physiology and our biology. So I just walked you through a sensory experience where you're receiving the information into your eyes, you're receiving the information through your ears, hearing my voice, you're receiving the information from touch. All of the five, now they say there's seven senses. That's part of practicing receiving and opening up to the abundance that already exists in this very space-time around you. Because here's the thing, stressing about the number in your bank account will not, unfortunately, bring you more. In fact, stress often breeds more stress. So breath work can be a very powerful way to reset your body and mind to the abundance that already exists around you. It may just be in another form at this current time. So with that, I'm going to get into the breath work a little bit. And I always recommend in our classes to find a comfortable position and allow yourself to receive the pleasure of that safety and comfort in your body. So that could be laying down. I'm going to stay seated just for the purpose of the class today, but allow yourself to start to integrate into your space a little bit more. Maybe you want to grab a blanket, a pillow, knowing that all those strategies are here to support you, and you don't have to feel guilty for desiring that. And as you start to find your place, just notice again, saying the word money. Has it changed? Notice where in your body that sensation of that word and vibration lands. And if it feels safe to your nervous system, you can close your eyes and keep your eyes open. Again, seeing and sensing into where does the word money land in your body. And once you've located that position, you're going to start to bring your hands to that area of your body. And just starting to naturally bring your breath to that area. Now, whatever is showing up for you, it could be a sense of contraction. It could be a sense of wanting to expand into it. Whatever organically your body wants to move into at this time, keeping your hands there. I'm going to tilt my screen just a little bit in case you want to look at me. So I'm going to work with my chest bone. I'm going to work with my sternum here. And on my exhale, I'm going to kind of like go into that sensation a little bit. So I'm going to kind of like move into that contraction, because any sensation of the body and your breath is really just a sign for something to pay attention to, knowing that you're safe in this space to explore what is that sensation. And I find it a little easier to keep my eyes closed. So again, inhaling into the region. And then you might be going into contraction like me, or maybe your body just naturally wants to expand, just starting to play with that area. And again, we're bringing our breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And trust that if you're expanding, trust the rhythm of then moving into a contraction. So you're kind of arching your spine in a contraction, maybe curling forward on your body. And then once you kind of receive the juice of that contraction, you feel like enough is enough, then allow yourself to come into more of an expansion. And again, we're just starting to play with expansion and contraction at this time. Keeping your hands on your body very gently, very lovingly. Again, for me, I'm going into an exhale, contraction of my heart. Maybe there's a little kind of sound there, just like my body wants to be seen and heard in that sensation, in that relationship to money. And then on the inhale, I'm feeling that expansion, opening up my heart. Again, could be very different in your body. And in fact, naturally, my body on the inhale, my arms kind of opened up as though I'm open to receiving. And then as I go into the contraction, again, my hands are on my body and I'm just really going into that sensation and really being with it. Oftentimes in those sensations, our body just wants to be heard. There's something unprocessed that wants to be digested and felt and seen and acknowledged, right? And as you start to find this rhythm in your body, I want you to complete your last inhale and exhale in a state of neutrality. So, not arms open to the world, ready for the waterfall of life, and not contracted in a little cave in a little ball, but just start to find some neutrality. You can keep your hands on that area of your body. I'm going to bring my hands to my legs because that's what feels good at this time. And just let your body receive. Let your breath do what it wants. There's nothing to fix. And just notice any sensations coming through in your body. Notice where those sensations go. And if there's a new area of your body emerging at this time, let's connect with that. Again, sensing, where does the word money land for you? Again, we're not going into a story. We're not going into thoughts around it. I'm not here to provide you a bunch of strategies for your bank account and organization of money. I just want you to sense into your body and your breath when you hear the word money. What happens to your physiology? If the same area is calling for more attention, let's continue to hang out there. There's no right or wrong in this. This is all sensing so that you feel more somatically safe and embodied with not only the word money, but anything that relates to money. So for me, I'm going to move up to my upper chest, into my kind of throat region. And for me, I naturally want to expand. Again, when I sense the word and sense into the word money, what's changed in how your body and your breath wants to move? Playing with the expansion and then playing with the contraction. Again, just slightly curling in on that area of your body, almost like you're giving it a hug. And if there's any sound as you compress the matter and the tissues. And then trusting the natural expansion of your body. And you might be finding like you want to make a little bit more sound. As we get into more of this breath work, we're moving energy in our body, literally our blood, our lymphatic, keep going into that compression and expansion as I'm talking and teaching. We are moving energy, and sound, again, is a beautiful way to move that energy through our matter. For me, my body's calling again for my sternum, so I'm going to come back to that region and I'm going to go in and just compress. And expand. Good. Doing that a couple more times and just follow the sensation of your body. It could be changing. For me, I'm going to go down to my belly now, my stomach. My stomach is an area where we digest and process a lot of life, right? Process the changes of life. So I'm going to come in, exhale. I'm going to open up my belly a little more. I'm going to open up my legs just to kind of like really open up my parasympathetic nervous system, which is that front line of your body, which is all about rest, digest, receiving the recovery, just like chill, right? Again, let's do a couple more rounds. Again, finding that little bit of rounding in your spine, contracting, going into that sensation and not being afraid of it. Because we know, as people who probably have bank accounts, the numbers are going to change, right? Sometimes it's going to maybe feel contracted because our money friends are out in the world, trusting that they're going to come back, right? And sometimes it expands, right? So just sensing this in your body And as you complete your exhale, again, taking a moment to like let your body really receive that work, really receive that breath work, and just let your breath do whatever it wants. And just noticing if there's a little bit more expansion in your nervous system, if you feel like you have more ability to breathe and take in oxygen. And not feeling guilty for receiving this time, for receiving your breath, for receiving your body, and for receiving abundance, for receiving money that is a tool of energy to create a lifestyle that serves you and others. That it's not evil. And again, sensing when I say the word money, money, money. Check in. Where is the sensation? Where is the energy? Not fighting it, but rather untangling patterns in your nervous system, that these stories in our mind we tell ourselves about abundance and money that perhaps have been passed down through generations, right? Especially if you're a female like me and you identify as a woman, there's a lot there to unpackage as women feeling abundant, and that we are worthy of having abundance in the form of money and many other things, and we don't have to be or feel shameful or guilty. Saw Kieran's mentioned something in the chat. I'm just going to pause. Stay present with me. Past 3 days have hurt, ached in my lower back, bottom, and inside of my thighs. Yeah, sacred feminine, once again, awakening a new birth of creativity. Absolutely. So to speak on that for a moment, and we can play with that. Thanks for sharing, Kieran. I think it's valuable to hear and see what's coming up for y'all. When you think about receiving any form, right? The primary level of receiving as a human being is receiving oxygen and eliminating carbon dioxide. And so breath work, as Lois alluded to, why this is important is if we feel as though we are unable to access a full breath, an expansion and taking up space in all of our cells, as well as eliminating carbon dioxide, which too much of carbon dioxide can create a toxicity, we therefore will see that ripple into other forms of our life, right? Because everything is connected. So starting with receiving and practicing receiving starts with like receiving your own body, receiving the sensations of your nervous system, as well as like, where is my breath? So let's come back to that awareness. I'm going to say money. And notice if you breathe and expand into it now, or notice if there's still a little bit of that contraction. Again, money. And whatever is happening, again, no judgment. We're going to keep working with it. For me, what I'm noticing when I say money, and just note this for yourself, my heart now wants to expand into it, and there's a little bit of like curiosity and play. So I'm going to work with that this time, and we're going to do this one more time. Again, breath work really works when you are consistent and you have repetition. And each time we do this, whether you're joining me on a monthly basis or you're tuning into these calls on a more regular basis, it's going to keep building, and you're going to keep opening up your capacity to experience new sensation. Okay. So we're going to do the contraction and expansion one more time, and really allow yourself to receive this work. And also, one thing to note is contraction is not bad. It's actually a very normal part of biology and of nature. So contraction is not bad. And in fact, when you can allow yourself to like really go into that sensation, knowing that you're safe in this setting, you actually can experience that expansion more naturally and organically on the other side because you're not resisting the contraction. And I'm sure Lois will go into this in her challenge, but contraction can really be an amazing chrysalis of new creation, even as Karen said. So this can look like in nature, the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon, it's actually in a state of like contraction, but internally that little caterpillar is like doing some amazing work, right? But it looks like it's like contracted and it's doing some amazing work so that it can expand on the other side. And then guess what? Through the cycles of nature, things are dying and being created all the time. So this contraction I'm bringing you into is actually supporting a conscious death practice of patterns that your body's most likely been carrying that are not resonating with the level of abundance that's on its way to you. So instead of resisting the conscious death, why not just go into it and like really just burn that shit, right? Okay, so anyway, hopefully I can swear on here. So again, let's say the word money. Maybe there's a little smile that comes to your face, just like noticing what's different in your physiology. Money. Bring your awareness to that area of your body and organically move into an expansion and trust the timing to then move into that contraction and really allow yourself to go into it, even curling your spine a little more, going into it, finding that focal point, feeling the intensity, and then allowing your body to expand and come out of it on the other side. Again, a couple more times together. Y'all are doing great. I know you are. I can't see you, but I know you are. I sense it. I'm completing one more round. Again, expansion, contraction, following your breath, following your body's natural rhythm. It's going to look different than mine, trusting that. So no right or wrong. Again, let your nervous system integrate. And just noticing what's different. What's different in your body, what's different in your breath, what's different in your mind. And if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them and stay in your position. There's nowhere to go. Just really receiving this moment, really receiving the medicine of the breath and the body work. A nice sigh feels good, a stretch, just trusting the cues of your body. And coming back to that very exercise we practiced in the beginning, and just noticing, where do your eyes naturally want to go? And if closing your eyes is the answer, that's perfect. Maybe you want to do more internal inventory. And just notice, what are your eyes naturally drawn to? What feels abundant in your space? Noticing the colors, noticing what's different. Maybe things feel a little brighter, less foggy. And I invite you to look all the way around. So turning your head, even turning your back, looking behind you is a really great exercise to come out of that like fight or flight posture and just recognizing like, okay, I can see all my surroundings. I'm safe. Notice your breath. And if there's an object that your eyes just want to hang out for a moment, noticing the detail. Could also be doing this more internally if there's a part of your body your focus and attention is lingering on. Right now I'm looking at a wooden plaque that someone made. It was handcrafted. It's 2 pieces of wood with Minnesota has been painted, the outline of Minnesota. And inside of it is a bunch of gold, which we know was a form of money at one point, right? A form of currency exchange, and how money over the years has even changed form. From gold and silver to coins to paper to now crypto, right? There's so many different forms of abundance. And as those forms of energy continue to change, so will you. And knowing that, again, your self-worth is not tied to something that is constantly changing and is totally impermanent, right? I'm just taking one more cleansing breath together. Allowing yourself to really receive this moment. If you've given yourself the time in your calendar to receive the full hour, I'm really going to invite you into receiving that time. Because again, stressing about numbers and money is not going to change it. But the more that you can really open up yourself, your breath, your body, and your nervous system to receiving, the more you will start to see that outcome in all forms of your life. But it starts with you. So I hope this practice brought you some insight, brought you some awareness of where money lands for you, literally, in your nervous system, and actually priming your body mind to go into LOIS's challenge, perhaps with a little bit more curiosity and less fear. So thank you all for tuning in. Let yourself receive. I'm going to close out Zoom. Thank you to those of you who have joined us live, and big gratitude and appreciation to those of you who tune into the recording and continue to use this work in your daily life. So love and appreciate you all. You're welcome, Meg. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to let you be. Enjoy. I'll talk with you soon. Bye.